I'm just thinking, what were you going to say?
I don't know.
Here's an idea by Matt D. Company. A cooler packing service where a user would go to the app to pick out which drinks and food they would like. We go ahead and pack the cooler with iced beverages, food, and snacks for the beach. The cooler will have GPS tracking and payment on the app via Stripe or whatever. That's an add-on. I just like the idea. And bear with me, I like the idea mostly, the convenience is nice, but mostly because you get to give that dirty bag back to the place you rented it from.
So that's what I want.
Or it's disposable.
So it's like a cooler or a cooler bag.
A cool bag or like a polystyrene. Hopefully not polystyrene because it's not recyclable.
Like a reusable cooler bag.
Or disposable, whichever way that goes. I'm not sure. Obviously, you would like it to be reusable.
But it's delivered to you, or you pick it up.
Maybe it's delivered.
At the beach,
maybe you pick it up. Maybe they're close by beach areas, but
parks,
beaches, right? Theme parks. I had it all in here.
Football games.
Football games, exactly right. I could see that being really handy for people who just don't like the pain in the ass factor of preparing all that food for a going out thing. Yeah.
One idea that I've had for a little while is this story-based app based on your photos that you take while you've traveled.
Oh.
Right? So an AI-driven app that generates a complete digest or story about what you did on vacation based on a lot of the metadata from your photos. So basically where you could upload some photos and it would automatically take out any of the EXIF data, any of the metadata, parse it out, grab the location, know the people that are in it. I mean, we've got a lot of that going on already in your Apple Photos or your Amazon Photos or whatever, where it knows who's in the photo. We can do all of that smartly with AI already. But why can't we also infer some of the story based on the context, right? So we went to Disney World last year. Pretty obvious, easy one.
Yeah.
The photos definitely have, the Magic Kingdom castles in the background, like pretty obvious what you're doing. And then it takes the date and the location and it puts together a plan of, hey, we went to the Magic Kingdom on Monday. We went to Epcot on Tuesday, and that's Walt Disney World, obviously, but you could see it applying to going to France, and we were at the Eiffel Tower on Tuesday at 2 p.m., and just kind of like a little story. And it just would give you kind of that brief outline to get you excited about, hey, I've got a book. That we print out a photo book, album type thing, but it's also a story.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
Yeah, it has a story.
Not to mention the tie-ins, because we always take photos of the food that we eat before we eat it, because we're foodies. Mm-hmm. And you take a photo of the food.
One of those people that just...
and later on, it could actually say, based on what it sees in that photo, or based on the menu that you took a photo of, like maybe how to recreate that dish that you had. Could it use video, potentially?
Yeah, why not?
Like actually scanning through a video to see what was talked about at that point in the day?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's out there. I haven't done any video, AI video consumption.
I'm not even going to try and read the username on this one, but so the idea essentially is aircraft boarding. If anyone has traveled, it's awful. I used to not care. I think when you're in your 20s and 30s, you don't care. You just put up with anything. But I think as you get a little older, some things that people do or don't do start annoying you more. And one of the most annoying things is processes.
Yeah.
And one of them is the boarding process, let alone even people trying to cram bags in when they're obviously not going to fit. It's just the stupid boarding process. Now, some airlines do it differently. But the idea was, why don't they board from the back of the plane first? Now, I just watched a video about this yesterday, where they really just talk about this. And in fact, they put in this whole mathematical model, and in fact, several mathematical models about what is the most efficient way to fill a plane. Mm-hmm. It turns out it's not just about the math. The problem is that people who have paid more for their tickets don't want to board last, even though they have a nice lounge.
See, I would rather board last.
Well, many people feel like they want to board first. They have paid, I guess, for the privilege of boarding first.
Who wants to go sit on the plane even longer than you have to?
I know. But the problem is you've got a line of people coming in even if you are boarding from the back, if one person happens to be maybe at the front of the back section, and they're fiddling around with their bag and they can't get in, now they want to get their headphones out and their book and all this stuff, you're holding up the rest of the line.
Yeah, I don't know. I think boarding from the back to the front makes sense.
And then you've got people coming out.
I mean, let first class board whenever they want. If there's a true first class, Southwest obviously not an issue.
Well, sure, but even just the logic of boarding at the back first. The other problem is boarding from the window to the aisle. If you've got a couple of people or just one person sat in the aisle already, and you've got one other person who's sat somewhere on the other two seats, that person's going to step out. Everyone's got to wait for the other person to put their thing in, right?
I know.
So one of the ways that they found, which would have been very efficient, was window first, then middle, or...
Would be inefficient
or efficient.
Oh, efficient. Oh, I would think so, yeah.
However, not the most efficient. The most efficient would be a window only all the way up, then filling the second seat up, then filling the aisle seat up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you're traveling with families,
it doesn't make any sense.
No one wants to be like, see ya in a few minutes,
No, it doesn't work.
Not to mention, if you were actually going to board, and their idea was to design the gate like the plane.
Yeah.
Now, that to me sounds like you're going to be herding cats. Who really is going to sit around?
No.
I have to sit here because my ticket says, who's going to be going around policing that? No one's going to police that. You're going to sit where you want to sit.
It's not ideal. This is why nothing's been done about it.
Not to mention the cost involved with all these airports having to redesign every gate to look like the inside of an airplane. It's never going to happen.
No. This next thing that I'm thinking of is a local. Would be a local business to your home, right? So for house plant and garden watering while you're away.
Yeah, travel.
I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer. And I'm sure I know there's like plant services that I remember when I used to work in an office, there was one that would come in and they'd trim the plants, water the plants, take care of the plants for the office building.
Right.
That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, if this is a one-off thing, how many times do most people travel? Maybe once to 3 times tops a year, that they take like a week-long trip where, two or 3 times a year.
Do plants need to be watered if you're only taking off for a week?
Or 2 weeks, whatever. I'm saying
2 weeks,
long
enough. Yeah.
Vegetable gardens do. I mean, like,
I see what you're saying. So not just plants in the home, but even
I said houseplants or garden, vegetable gardens. Yeah, either one.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I think I don't know that there's enough of that going on constantly and enough demand for it.
Well, I was just going to say,
but it could be an add-on for like
a pet service. Now, couldn't you wrap those in together?
That's what I was going to say. Either the pet service thing, or even like housekeepers, could throw this on as an add-on service where it wouldn't take that much. My thought is landscapers, people that are out in the community on a daily basis anyway, right?
Handy people,
my neighborhood, there's like 5,000 landscapers that drive through a day doing different lawns. If they had it on their list that, hey, we need to stop at this house and water these plants, it's a simple business. It'd be a great business for like a high school student, college student, got the summer off, to test their feet in the water. Try it out. I mean, just like go out there. Like we would pay somebody to come water at least the vegetable garden, because the beauty of that is it's outside too. There's less of a trust issue letting people into your house. It's kind of these temporary stopgap services just to fill in.
This is from Spring Streams. This was awesome, but pretty niche. I'm an avid long-distance backpacker. I need a customized cartography backcountry route finding and creation app so I can plan long-distance hiking routes point to point by using existing but not connected routes, so that they are obviously the types who don't just hit a hiking path, do their circuit, and leave for the day.
They go off trail.
They know their stuff. They've obviously packed for an extended trip. They know what they're doing. This is very difficult to do manually and usually isn't done optimally. AI just doesn't have access to the resources needed, nor does it quite have the ability to take third-party location/route data and translate that into an accurate and useful plan. So basically, anything that isn't already a known hiking trail, or even a known hiking route. And his idea also was to rope in a bunch of other data associated with that, not just the actual hiking trails and connecting disparate hiking trails to make your own way. But what if this was for scuba divers and paragliders and cyclists in rural, off the beaten path areas who want to go from point A to point B, but going in this weird circuit. They want to basically devise their own route. I don't want to just do the regular route. Maybe I read something somewhere about this cool little town that's not between route A and B.
Yeah.
How do I want to get there my own way?
So just so I'm understanding, the main goal is to plan the route?
As a planner, and plan it intelligently in a way where it's taking into account, no doubt why he mentioned AI, that it's taking things that people have posted about their own experiences, filling in between these different routes, let's say.
I just wonder the density of the data. Does it exist at all? And now for really popular areas,
my sense is it's not the popular routes. So my sense is...
This is what I'm saying. I don't know that there'd be enough data.
That's why he's saying maybe there would be some way to have that data. I think what he's suggesting is maybe that data exists out there on hiking sites, but it's never actually been connected to actual routes. And my other whole idea here was it would not just be routes. It would involve temperatures, weather changes. If you were diving, water conditions, sailing, fishing.
Yeah, I think there's
a lot in there.
I think there's a lot of separate apps there, right? Because
potentially yes, but potentially no. Potentially it could be a one in all and be a lot of data.
Yeah.
But the idea being like an all-around planner where you can plug in where you want to go and learn everything about that region, not just this is the popular route. Oh, that's a popular bike ride. He's talking about like many people hike around this mountain in this state.
Right.
So, but I read that someone hiked this path over here that's not really well known.
Yeah.
Only a few people have posted. I saw a couple of photos posted once about it.
I think the data consumption there
it'd be one of those things.
Difficulty.
But could there be a smart AI engine with basically a large language model?
Yeah.
For example, there was this great website called Thorntree that used to be run by Lonely Planet. Everyone loved it. I don't know what happened to it. I think the content might have gotten rolled into the main site. Another one we used was Virtual Tourist. I think it's still going. But the amount of data posted on those sites, if that could be hooked in.
Totally opposite end of the earth. Inspired again somewhat by Disney World because of the constant turnover. So many people, it's such a fertile bed for ideas. Either an app or a website for incoming and outgoing travelers, especially for outgoing travelers to share their food or groceries so that you don't have food waste with incoming travelers. This happens already on a lot of the Walt Disney forums, and especially on the Walt Disney World Facebook groups, of which there are tons with literally millions of active users. Because what people do is they go to Disney World for the week. They've got a family of 4 or 8 or however many people.
And they have like a hotel room or something?
In the hotel room. Okay. And they get either Instacart delivery, Walmart shopping delivery with full groceries because Disney World is expensive, right? So just to buy a bottle of water is like $4 in Disney World. If you buy a case of water for $4, you get 24 bottles. It's going to last you a lot longer. So people get that delivered to their hotel room.
Yeah.
We saw people coming in, and people do this all the time, where they're coming into their hotel and they're pushing a cart, one of those luggage carts, packed with $300 worth of groceries.
Because you don't want to go and eat every meal at a restaurant. You want to have stuff in the hotel room
snacks.
to prepare.
They've got all the snacks because you got kids of all these
that they take
ages.
with them into the park as well?
Yeah. They take Lunchables and all of these different snacks, fruit and
that's smart.
And crackers and chips and Cheez-Its and whatever they have, when people leave, they'll say, hey, we were staying at Art of Animation Hotel and we left a case of water, a pack of diapers, and some Lunchables outside room 303.
Oh, outside the room, really?
They'll just leave them outside the room in the hallway. And it happens all the time. I see it all the time on these. I'm still on all these Facebook Disney groups.
Yeah.
We'll probably revisit travel.
Oh, for sure.
Many times. Because
there's a lot out there.
To me, every time I travel, I kind of come up with ideas because it takes you out of your element, right? It puts you in.
Yeah, you're not at home anymore. You don't have the same storage solutions.
Right.
You don't have limited space for traveling with your food. You can't be taking a bunch of food back on the plane with you.
You're constantly thinking like, how do I deal with this because I don't have.
Are we just going to do like the bumper?
'Tis Pennybox $10.